Welcome back, guys, to Brisketmedic. Today we're going to be doing something that's going to blow you away. We're going to be doing some ranch dressing surf and turf on our Weber kettle. That's right, folks. Surf and turf ranch dressing style. We're going to be making ribeye steaks and lobster tails on our Weber kettle, and it's going to be such an easy recipe for you to follow along and amaze your family, friends, or whoever. First of all, we've got to make our compound butter. This is how I like to do it. You do it however you like. Let's start with our compound butter. I start with a tablespoon of lemon or lime juice, a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of chimichurri that I made about a week ago, a softened stick of butter, and 1 clove of garlic through the garlic press, minced. Get it all stirred up really nicely. I like to put it in a sandwich bag and throw it in the freezer for a little while so that it can form a little log of love. From there, we're going to go ahead and get our grill started. Today, we're going to be using our B&B charcoal competition oak, because I think oak has a great strong punch for beef, but also not too strong for the lobster. We've got it started up over here behind us. We just used a paper towel with a little bit of oil on it to get it started, and cleaned off our grates, oiled them up, sprayed them down with a little bit of olive oil, and got our grill grate sat down on there. It's back there. It's getting started. It's getting up to temp. So let's show you how we're going to prep our lobster and steak. Come on. All this is from our local HEB. So the first thing we're going to lay out is our steaks. These are just select steaks, but they had great marbling in them. So I figured, why not? And then we've got 3 cold water lobster tails there in the package. So let's go ahead and get these steaks out and show you how we prep these up. Very simple, very easy approach to this. We're not getting fancy. As you know, you may think that we're getting fancy just because it's surf and turf, but we're not. We're just going to take some of this off. That's going to burn up. It's going to be overcooked. Some of that thick meat, or some of that thick fat there, that's not going to be pleasant to the mouth. So get that off real fast. That right there, not so pleasant to the mouth, but a great spinalis on this steak. A little bit heavy there with that, but that's okay. And let's go ahead and get that off too. Okay. This steak here, good to go. Warm it up kind of how I want it, just so it cooks evenly. And the same thing here. Not a heavy trim, just want to get this big, unpleasant to the mouth fat off the edges where we can. See a lot of guys that are afraid to cut. They're afraid to use their knives. They're afraid to just jump in there and get to work. And I'm just not that guy. I used to be that guy. You know what? That right there is about to pull completely out. So guess what? I just pulled it out. Why not? I mean, if it's there, if it's being like that, just let the meat do what the meat wants to do, right? Okay. So we've got these built up. They're beautiful and they look really great. First thing we're hitting these with is just a little Morton kosher salt. Now I do like to use kosher salt with this bigger grain on a cut of meat like this that's not as thick as a brisket. With a brisket, I like to use table salt, simply because I need it to penetrate more and be more salty. With this, I don't need that. So we're going to hit that with that on both sides. We're going to let it sit, and then to top it off, we're going to hit with some Branscom's Pit of Steel Sweet Mesquite Pecan. Now this one, I think 3rd or 4th place in the world for best rub. These darn flies. And we're going to hit it a good coat of that. I don't want it so heavy that I can't see the striations of the meat underneath it anymore, but I want a good coat of it. Okay, let's get those sides. Make sure everything's nice and coated. Okay, and we'll hit it again on the other side. Again, get the sides, make sure everything's nice and coated. All right, make sure our shape is good to go. So while we're putting our lobsters together, I like to put these back in the fridge, because the colder they are when we start cooking, the better they're going to hold their shape. Those things are ready to go. We're going to stick it back in the fridge for a minute. So now we got our steak prep to go. Let's take a look at our lobster tails. I'm super excited about these. I have never cooked lobster at home before, and man, I have done nothing but just engulf and study for this. I've helped other people cook lobster, but I've never done it myself, and I'm super pumped to do this here at home with you guys. Absolutely gorgeous lobster tails here, averaging 4 to 5 ounces each. Beautiful lobster tails. And how we're going to prepare these is we're going to cut right down the middle, and then once we get to this last one, we're going to cut off to the side towards that tail. We want to make sure that we're not cutting through the meat. We just want to make sure we're hitting that shell, okay? So nice good pair of shears. We're just going to cut through there along the top side. Okay, on this last one, remember, we're going to make it 45. That's just going to help keep everything together later on. Okay, got that one cut. Let's go ahead and cut the rest of these. So to prepare these for cooking, we've already got them cut. So we're just going to take and we're going to bust these shells a little bit. So we're doing that, just busting the shells a little bit. Open it up, and then we're going to put our finger underneath it, and we're going to pull it out. Okay, we don't want to completely detach this meat from the shell, but we do want to pull it out and set it on top of the shell so we can get some good flavor in there. Okay, look how beautiful that is. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, same thing over here. All right, see, I didn't pull it all the way out. All right, I'm gonna lay it on top. Okie dokie, beautiful. Make sure we don't have any pieces of cracked shell on there. And these lobsters are looking gorgeous. All right, we've got them all pulled off and got them looking exactly how we want them to. So let's hit them with just a little bit of salt. Okay, you can let those sit like that. We're gonna hit the inside, hit the bottom side. Okay, bottom side, beautiful. Okay, those are pretty well done. We're just going to hit them with a light coat of Brisketmedic steel. Not a lot, just a light coat just on top, okay? We're going to set these inside the fridge until that grill is up to temp, and then we'll bring you out and we're ready to start cooking. Shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 minutes, okay? Now that we've got our ribeyes prepared and seasoned, we've got our lobster tails cracked and seasoned. They're sitting in the fridge right now. They're taking on a little bit of seasoning. I've got just a few more minutes before this Weber's up to temp. I really want to be cooking right around 500 to 550 degrees on these grill grates. I'll bring you back when it's ready to go. All right, folks, we're sitting right around 500 degrees on this half over here, and that means it's time for us to go ahead and slap our lobster tails down. Now, I'm going to start these off meat side down on the grill grates. Yes, on the grill grates, meat side down. It's not going to take them very long to cook. We're just going to leave them on there for a few minutes before we flip them over and put them on the offset side and then start our steak cook. That's the best part about cooking on this 2-zone fire. While these are finishing off, the steak can start on our sear side, and these will be over here on the indirect side, just getting nice and finished up. That's the best part, I think, about indirect flame with surf and turf. Cook everything at the same time, folks. Give us just a few minutes. We're going to pull this off of here, throw it. We're going to flip it over and put it over here on this indirect side and let it finish off. The best part about indirect flame, just like I said, I can sear these lobster on the grill grates for 2 to 3 minutes, flip them over, throw them on the indirect side while I'm searing off my steaks. We're going to cook the steaks the entire time on the grill grates. Let's bring you over. It's time to pull the lobsters off, put them on the indirect, and start our steaks. We're going to put these lobsters on the indirect side to finish off. Pull these bad boys up. Just going to loosen them up a little bit. Okay. Loosen them up. Look at the beautiful color and the grill marks. Love it. Love it. Love it. Man, those are going to be so good. Loosen them up a little bit. so important to spray your grill grates before you use them, because something like lobster or fish or anything else really will stick so easily that you really want to make sure you're not ruining your dish just for some cool grill grate marks. You know, really want to make sure that you're using it to its full potential. Man, these look amazing. All right, we're gonna let this get back up to temp. I'm gonna scrape that off a little bit, get it ready for the steaks, baby. All right, folks, it's been a minute and a half. We're going to take this cover off and take a look at our steaks. This one's obviously going to be cooking faster than this one because of the coals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with a little spray. We're going to flip her around, see what our grill grates look like. All right. And we don't want to just flip her straight over. We want to turn it at a 90 and put her down. Okay, same thing here. Turn it at a 90 or less. It doesn't matter, as long as it's not the same direction, because then you're putting too much heat through those lines and you're going to overcook in certain areas. So another minute and a half, my friends. All right, it's been another minute and a half. Let's see how they look. Our lobsters are looking gorgeous. Look how red they are. Love it. Absolutely outstanding. Let's go ahead and take a look at these as well. This one, like I said, it's going to cook a lot faster than that one. See, our lines are going this way. We're just going to flip her over just like this. Press her in. We're not squeezing anything out. We're just pressing it in so it makes good contact, okay? Keep that one nice and in shape. There we go. Another minute and a half. We're going to flip them over, and then we're going to just let them finish off until their internal temperature of 135 degrees, where we take them over and put them in their butter bath to rest. We're going to leave our lobster just sitting here hanging out until it's done cooking. Theoretically, with the lobster staying in there, by the time I pull the steaks off after another minute and a half, I flip them over, pull them off, and put them in a butter bath over here in some foil. The lobsters are going to stay on the grill, and by the time that rest, that 5 to 10 minute rest with the steaks is complete, we can do the same thing with the lobsters, and I believe they're all going to be finished at the same exact time. Then I've got to show you exactly how we're using ranch dressing to make this an amazing treat you're going to love. Last flip, folks. Look at those beautiful marks, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Move this around some. Give this steak a little more love here. Look at these lobsters. Look at how beautiful and red they are. There's still a little bit of clear meat there, so we're going to keep cooking them until that is all translucent. We don't want to overcook them, but golly, those will look good. Another minute and a half or so. Let's go ahead and get some of this butter pulled out and cut up to go on top of this beautiful steak here. This one was done first. Obviously, it was on the hot side of the fire, so it was completed pretty quickly. So we've got our herb butter that we have put together. Remember, this had the chimichurri, the butter, a little bit of lime juice, and another clove of garlic in it on top of the garlic that was from the chimichurri. So we're going to go ahead and get just a good little slab there. And our other steak is going to be on there for another minute, just kind of getting up to temp. It's only about 125, 130 right now. I want to give it a little bit more time, get up to about 135 or so before I pull it, throw it on top of this, throw another little slab of butter on it, and call it good to go. So gorgeous. That's all right. I'm not worried about that. This isn't a competition steak, but the flavor is going to be competition worthy. That's for dang sure. All right, go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes. Put the Weber back on for the lobster tails to finish up as well.
Going through and editing this video, guys, I realized that my mic was off at this point, and I lost all that good footage with audio, so I do apologize about that. But let me tell you, this steak and lobster combination turned out absolutely amazing. The herbs and the citrus from the butter and the ranch dressing powder really sets off a rich combination of flavors like steak and lobster with butter. It cuts through that richness, so you still have a little bit of that richness, but it's not overwhelming in the back of your throat. It doesn't have that same mouth feel as something that's absolutely coated with butter, but you get that great butter flavor too. I'm telling you guys, this is a combination that you're gonna love, your family's gonna love, friends are gonna be absolutely amazed by. Probably win some steak competitions with it too. Make sure you click that like, subscribe, watch some of these videos that pop up. If you haven't hit that bell already, do that. Comment down below if this is how you've ever made steak and lobster before. I love you guys. Drink more water.